Jewel Kilcher, professionally known as Jewel, is an American singer-songwriter, guitarist, producer, actress, and author-poet. She has received 4 Grammy Award nominations and has sold over 27 million albums worldwide. Jewel's debut album, Pieces of You, released on February 28, 1995, became one of the best-selling debut albums of all time, going 15 times platinum. One single from the album, Who Will Save Your Soul, peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. 2 others, You Were Meant for Me, and Foolish Games, reached number 7 and 2 respectively on the Hot 100, and were listed on Billboard's 1997 year-end singles chart, as well as Billboard's 1998 year-end singles chart. She has crossed several genres throughout her career. Perfectly Clear, her first country album, was released on the Valory Music Co in 2008. It debuted atop Billboard's Top Country Albums chart and featured 3 singles, Stronger Woman, I Do, and Till It Feels Like Cheating. Jewel released her first independent album Lullaby in May 2009. Jewel is the co-host, as well as a judge, with Kara Diogadi on the songwriting competition reality television series Platinum Hit, which premiered May 29, 2011 on the cable network Bravo. Jewel has the vocal range of a lyric soprano. On July 2, 2013, NBC announced that Jewel would be a judge on the 4th season of the a cappella competition The Sing-Off. Early life, education and career beginnings. Jewel was born in Payson, Utah, but was raised in Homer, Alaska, which is where her grandfather Yul Kilcher, a delegate to the Alaska Constitutional Convention and a state senator, had settled after emigrating from Switzerland. Yul also made the first recorded crossing of the Harding Icefield. Jewel is the daughter of Lenidra Jewel and Attila Kunoas Kilcher. She is a first cousin once removed of actress Korianka Kilcher. Jewel spent most of her young life in Homer living with her father. The home she grew up in did not have indoor plumbing. It had a simple outhouse instead. The Kilcher family is featured on the Discovery Channel show Alaska, The Last Frontier, which chronicles their day-to-day struggles living in the Alaskan wilderness. Jewel and her father sometimes earned a living by singing in bars and taverns. It was from these experiences she learned to yodel as demonstrated in many of her songs. Her father was a Mormon, but they stopped attending the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints shortly before she turned 8. Jewel learned to play the guitar while at the Interlochen Arts Academy in Interlochen, Michigan, where she majored in operatic voice. She started writing songs at the age of 16. While at school, she would sometimes play at Ray's Coffee House in Traverse City, Michigan. For a time, Jewel lived in her car while traveling around the country doing street performances and small gigs. She gained some recognition by singing at the Interchange Coffee House and Java Joe's in San Diego, California. Her friend Steve Puls's band, the Ruckburns, played the same venues. Jewel later collaborated with Pulse on some of her songs, including You Were Meant for Me. The Ruckburns opened for Jewel on her Tiny Lights tour in 1997. Pulse appeared in Jewel's band on the Spirit World Tour 1999 playing guitar. Music career. Early, Jewel was discovered in August 1994 by Inge Weinstein, a former Paramount studio executive. John Hogan, the lead singer from a local San Diego band, Rust, signed to Atlantic Records, who Weinstein was managing, called to tell Weinstein about a female surfer who sang at Interchange, a local Pacific Beach coffee shop on Thursdays. Jenny Price, an assistant to Rust's A&R, Tom Carolyn, came along on a trip. After the show, Weinstein and Price called Danny Goldberg, the head of Atlantic Records' West Coast operations. Jewel didn't have a demo tape at the time and had no funds to pay for it. Goldberg offered to pay for Jewel to record some of her songs. He suggested Jewel record her first studio recording session with Bruce Robb, where Evan Dando from Lemonheads, another Atlantic Records artist, was recording. Bruce Robb produced, engineered, and mixed her demos. The Robb brothers had just produced the Lemonheads for Atlantic Records. Weinstein became Jewel's manager and was instrumental in creating a major bidding war, leading to Jewel's deal with Atlantic Records and her subsequent appearance on the cover of Time, the first ever by an Atlantic artist. It was Weinstein's idea to ask Neil Young's longtime engineer and producer, Ben Keith, who never worked with anyone else but Neil Young. Keith not only agreed to produce Jewel's debut, but suggested they use the Stray Gators to back her on non-acoustic songs. Jewel released her debut album, Pieces of You, in 1995 when she was 21. The album was recorded live at the Interchange Coffee House in San Diego, and also in the studio on Neil Young's ranch. It was backed by Young's band, the Stray Gators. The album was produced by Ben Keith, who played steel guitar in Neil's band. The album stayed on the Billboard 200 for 2 years, reaching number 4 at its peak. The album spawned the popular hits You Were Meant for Me, Who Will Save Your Soul, and Foolish Games. The album eventually sold more than 12 million copies in the United States alone. Spirit and This Way. Jewel was chosen to sing the American national anthem at the opening of the Super Bowl XXXII in January 1998 in San Diego. She was introduced as San Diego's own Jewel. However, she was criticized for lip-syncing the anthem to a digitally recorded track of her own voice. This was especially noticeable due to her missing her cue and not mouthing the first words. Super Bowl producers have since admitted that they attempt to have all performers pre-record their vocals. She performed the Star-Spangled Banner again in the 2003 NBA Finals in one of the New Jersey Nets home games. Jewel parted ways with her original manager, Inge Weinstein, in February 1998. At the time she was in talks with Daniel Lanois about producing what would have become her second album. However, upon letting Weinstein go and handing her career management to her mother, she abruptly changed creative direction. Instead of Lanois, she ended up going with Patrick Leonard, who created a much more pop album. Many believe that going in a more pop direction alienated her core fan base, resulting in much lower sales. Spirit was released in November 1998. The album peaked at No. 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold more than 4 million copies in the United States. The song Hands hit No. 6 on the Hot 100. Other singles followed, including a new version of Jupiter, What's Simple is True, and the charity single Life Uncommon. A year later, in November 1999, Jewel released Joy, a holiday collection. The album sold over 1 million copies and peaked at No. 32 on the Billboard 200. She released a cover of Joy to the World from the album as a single. In November 2001 the album This Way was released. The album peaked at No. 9 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 1.5 million copies in the US. A song from the album Standing Still hit the top 30. Other singles released were Break Me, This Way, and Serve the Ego, the latter giving Jewel her first #1 club hit. 0304, in 2003 Jewel released the album 0304. Following the limited success of Serve the Ego, Jewel moved to a more pop-oriented sound with the release of the single Intuition. The song reached No. 5 on the Billboard Adult Pop Songs chart and No. 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. Goodbye Alice in Wonderland. On May 2, 2006 Jewel released her sixth album Goodbye Alice in Wonderland. The album received mixed reviews, but still managed to debut at No. 8 on the Billboard Albums chart and sold 82,000 copies in its first week. The lead single Again and Again had success on Adult Top 40 radio, peaking at No. 16. The second single Good Day was released to radio in late June and peaked at No. 30 on the Adult Pop Songs charts. A video for Stephenville, Texas, her next single, was seen on Yahoo! Launch. After a photo shoot at her Texas ranch, Jewel spontaneously decided to have photographer Kurt Marcus shoot the music video for the song Goodbye Alice in Wonderland. According to an Atlantic Records press release, the homegrown clip beautifully reflects both the song's organic, intimate sound and its powerfully autobiographical story. As of December 2006 the album had barely sold over 270,000 copies, making it the first Jewel album not to quickly achieve gold certification. CMT music critic Timothy Duggan praised the album. This album showcases Jewel's unique talent as a lyricist, alongside a definite growth in her musicianship. It is what pieces of you might have been had Jewel had the musical knowledge then that she is now. A very satisfying work, all in all. Rolling Stone, however, called the album overdone and undercooked with a rating of 2 stars out of 5. Up to now, the album has only sold over 377,000 copies. Arthur and the Invisibles, Jewel released a video for the new song Quest for Love as the lead single from the movie Arthur and the Invisibles. The song is only available on the soundtrack for the film, which was released in January 2007. Perfectly Clear. In early February 2007 Jewel recorded a duet with Jason Michael Carroll, No Good in Goodbye, that was featured on Carroll's debut CD, Waitin' in the Country. She also made a promotional appearance on the T in Boston for the Verizon Yellow Pages, playing songs on a moving subway car and then doing an hour-long acoustic concert in South Station. In a 2007 interview with the Boston Globe, Jewel stated that she was no longer affiliated with a record label, confirming rumors that Atlantic Records had failed to renew her contract after the lackluster sales of her then latest album. She also hinted that she would like to do a country album next. She worked with John Rich of Big and Rich fame, who said that she was probably one of the greatest American singer-songwriters we have had. He also said that every label in Nashville was talking to her at the time. In November 2007 Jewel was signed to Valory Records, a newly formed division of the independent Big Machine Records label. Her first country album, Perfectly Clear, was released on June 3, 2008, selling 48,000 units in its first week. It debuted at No. 1 on the Billboard Country Album Chart and No. 8 on the Billboard 200 Album Chart. In its second week on the charts, the album dropped to No. 25 on the Billboard 200 and No. 5 on the Country Albums Chart, with estimated second-week sales of 75,000 units. Its lead single, Stronger Woman, was released to country radio on January 17, 2008, and entered the top 20 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs charts. On the April 26, 2008 country charts it peaked at No. 13. The next single, I Do, was released to radio on June 23, 2008. The video for the single featured her cowboy husband, T.Y. Murray. This song peaked at No. 28. Following it was Till It Feels Like Cheating, which peaked at No. 57. Perfectly Clear was released in Australia in late May 2009. It was then released across Europe by Humphead Records in June 2009. Lullaby. In early 2009 it was announced that Jewel would release a new studio album titled Lullaby, a collection of lullabies which she described as not just for children, but also adults. Its lead single, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, was released on iTunes on March 17, 2009. The album was released on May 5, 2009. Somewhere Over the Rainbow was No. 1 on the top children's songs the week of release. Like 2011's The Merry Goes Round, it is sold under the Fisher-Price brand which Jewel described as a great partnership. She also recorded a duet, Make It Last, with R&B singer Therese in conjunction with the release of his comic book Mayhem. It was intended to be used for the soundtrack to Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen but did not appear on the final track listing. Sweet and Wild. In January 2010 Jewel released Stay Here Forever from the soundtrack to the film Valentine's Day. It also served as the lead-off single to Jewel's 9th studio album Sweet and Wild released on June 8, 2010. The single debuted at No. 48 on the Hot Country Songs chart and reached No. 34 in May 2010. Satisfied was released as the album's second single on May 17, 2010, reaching its highest peak of No. 57. On October 10, 2010 Jewel released the third single from Sweet and Wild, 10. It made its debut on the Hot Country Songs chart at No. 55 on the week of October 15, 2010 and peaked at No. 51 2 weeks later. The Merry Goes Round, Jewel's second children's album, The Merry Goes Round, was released in August 2011. Like 2009's Lullaby, it is sold under the Fisher-Price brand. Greatest Hits. On October 16, 2012 Jewel announced via Twitter a Greatest Hits album would be released in 2013. The album features new duets from Kelly Clarkson and the Pistol Annies. Jewel and Clarkson recorded a fresh rendition of Jewel's song Foolish Games while Jewel and the Pistol Annies recut You Were Meant for Me. The Greatest Hits album was released February 5, 2013. Let It Snow, a holiday collection. On August 6, 2013, Jewel announced the release of her second Christmas album, titled Let It Snow, a holiday collection, scheduled for release on November 12, 2013. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Jewel was quoted as saying I wanted this record to have a resemblance to the first album. Unregistered trademark a continuation of mood and spirit of that record, with the mood and feel of the album artwork with an image and tone that evokes that spirit. New album. As of February 2014, Jewel has begun work on her next album and has confirmed that it will not be released by a major record label, and that she will be producing it herself. It will reportedly have a sound similar to Pieces of You. Musical equipment and technique. Owning a wide variety of Taylor guitars, Jewel uses a Taylor 912C most often. Acoustic guitar writer Jeffrey Pepper Rogers called the guitar her steady companion. All of her guitars are strung with Didgeridoo products. To strum, she employs a unique self-created finger-picking technique or a hard pick. Film and theatre. Jewel starred as character Sue Lee Shelley in the 1999 Ang Lee film Ride with the Devil along with Tobey Maguire. Jewel also starred as Dorothy in the 1995 Dreams Come True production of The Wizard of Oz. She had a cameo as herself in Walk Hard. In June 2012, Jewel was cast in the lead role as June Carter Cash in the Lifetime original movie Ring of Fire. Television. Minor. Jewel's first U.S. television appearance was as the musical guest on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno on December 26, 1995. Lifetime released a commercial starring Jewel to help promote breast cancer awareness. In 2006, Jewel appeared with T.Y. Murray in a Miller Lite Men of the Square Table commercial. Jewel appears as herself, during her indie years, performing in a musical festival called The Great Foul Sound, in episode 23 of the anime adaptation of the manga series Beck. Jewel was a featured singer in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra television special and 2001 DVD The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, performing Hark! The Herald Angels Sing. Jewel appeared on the Nick and Jessica Variety Hour where she performed a duet of Who Will Save Your Soul with Jessica Simpson. Jewel was featured on the MTV show Punk'd in 2007. Jewel was a celebrity judge on Iron Chef America in 2007. In 2010, Jewel appeared on the Food Network show Ace of Cakes as she kicked off her tour in Baltimore, Maryland, United States. In 2010, Jewel appeared in a Funny or Die exclusive internet video. Jewel, disguised as mild-mannered businesswoman, Karen, visited a local karaoke bar and performed some of her classic songs. She sang You Were Meant for Me, and Foolish Games. On July 3, 2010, Jewel gave an interview on NPR's Weekend Edition. For Season 2 of reality show The Voice, Jewel was a guest mentor for the team led by Christina Aguilera. Dancing with the Stars. On February 8, 2009, it was announced that she would appear on the 8th season of Dancing with the Stars alongside new pro Dimitri Chaplin, which she did primarily as a bet against husband T.Y. Murray. However, 5 days before the season premiere, she suffered stress fractures in the tibia of both legs and was forced to withdraw. It is unknown if Jewel might appear in a future season. Writing. Jewel published a book of poetry titled A Night Without Armor in 1998. Although it sold over 1 million copies and was at the New York Times bestseller list, it received mixed reviews. During an MTV interview in 1998, Kurt Loder pointed out the incorrect usage in her book of poetry of the word casualty, to which Jewel responded, "You're a smartass for pointing that out." Next topic. In the fall of '98, the poet Beau Siar composed a book-length response to A Night Without Armor entitled A Night Without Armor 2, The Revenge. The reviewer Edna Gunderson, writing in USA Today, noted, hers is flowery and sensitive. His is rhymed absurd. Jewel went on to write an autobiography titled Chasing Down the Dawn in 2000, a collection of diary entries and musings detailing her life growing up in Alaska, her struggle to learn her craft and life on the road. Jewel was scheduled to release a third book called Love Poems, which was supposed to be an extremely intimate portrayal of her relationship with her boyfriend, T.Y. Murray. It was cancelled several months before release because Jewel was worried about Murray's mother's reaction to her intimate confessions. Books, revealing Jewel, an intimate portrait from family and friends, edited by Kenneth Calhoun and Cambria Jensen, publisher, Atria, ISBN 0-7434-7540-2, A Night Without Amora, poems by Jewel, publisher, Harper Paperbacks, ISBN 0-0617362-8, Angel Standing By, The Story of Jewel by Jewel, ISBN 0-312-19827-2, Jewel, Pieces of You, published by Alfred Publishing Company, ISBN 0-7692-1676. -5, Chasing Down the Dawn, Stories from the Road, published by Harper Paperbacks, ISBN 0-06-019200-3, The Best of Jael, a Euro piano guitar, published by Hal Leonard Corporation, ISBN, Jewel Spirit, Guitar Songbook Edition, by Jewel, published by Warner Brothers Publications, ISBN 0-7692-7335-1, Philanthropy. In 1995, Jewel played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in concert, Dreams Come True, a musical performance of the popular story at Lincoln Center to benefit the Children's Defense Fund. The performance was originally broadcast on Turner Network Television, and issued on CD and video in 1996. She formed a non-profit organization called Higher Ground for Humanity with her mother, Lenedra J. Carroll, and her older brother, Shane Kilcher. The organization's focus is education, sustainable improvements, and building alliances with like-minded organizations. Jewel donates a portion of her income to the organization and often holds events to benefit the organization. The organization tends to parallel Jewel's career since she provides the majority of the organization's funding. As of 2005, the activities of the organization were reduced. One early grantee was the Global Youth Action Network, which has become one of the largest youth movements around the United Nations. In September 2006, as part of Lifetime's Stop Breast Cancer for Life campaign, Jewel delivered more than 12 million petition signatures to Capitol Hill, urging Congress to pass the Bipartisan Breast Cancer Patient Protection Act of 2005. The bill would ban the practice of drive-through mastectomies, when women are discharged from the hospital just hours after their surgeries. Jewel served as the honorary chairperson of the 2006 Help the Homeless Walk in Washington, D.C. In May 2013, Jewel served as ambassador for the Rethink Why Housing Matters initiative. She was included in the initiative's public service announcement, which asked Americans to rethink their views on public housing and consider how it benefits people in their own communities. Project Clean Water, Celebrity Lyrics Auction. In November 2008, Jewel began work on a project with several dozen singer-songwriters to write and auction their lyrics, with donations benefiting her Project Clean Water charity. Many singers and songwriters besides herself have donated their written lyrics, including Patrick Davis, Alabama's Randy Owen, John Mellencamp, Jason Mraz, Gretchen Wilson, and Marv Green. The majority of the lyrics were written on paper and signed by the songwriter, with the exception of Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl. Many of the artists, in addition to writing and signing lyrics, drew pictures to illustrate their lyrics. The auction ran from December 1, 2008 to December 18, 2008, promoted by CMT and Virgin Music. Some of the lyrics that were up for auction included hits such as So Small, Foolish Games, I'm Yours, I Kissed a Girl, St. Elmo's Fire, Live Like You Were Dying, I Don't Need a Man, Superman, and Redneck Woman. The highest bought lyrics being Jewel's signature song You Were Meant for Me, sold for $1,505, and Who Will Save Your Soul, and Hands, raising more than $1,005 each. Jewel promised that all items sold by December 18 would be delivered by Christmas. After the majority of the auctions ended on December 18, two new lyrics by Craig Wiseman and Ernie Ashworth were put up for auction, ending in January 2009. Personal life: Jewel married pro rodeo cowboy T.Y. Murray on August 7, 2008 in the Bahamas after 10 years together. Their son, Case Towns Murray, was born on July 11, 2011. On July 2, 2014, after nearly 6 years of marriage, Jewel announced on her website that she and T.Y. were divorcing. Jewel is the daughter of Oz Kilcher, who currently stars in the Discovery Channel show Alaska, The Last Frontier. She has 3 brothers, all of whom live in Alaska. Her cousin is actress Korianka Kilcher, who is best known for her role as Pocahontas opposite Colin Farrell and Christian Bale, and director Terrence Malick's Academy Award-nominated motion picture, The New World. Jewel identifies as a feminist and has said, "I don't think I started off young as a feminist. I read a lot of books in Alaska, I was pretty isolated where I grew up, and I think that I never thought I was any different than a man. I was raised in a place where pioneer women were very strong still. They'd shoe horses and build their own homes and were very self-sufficient. It wasn't really until I've gotten older that I really became a fan of women. And a fan of what women are capable of balancing and achieving, by just being them." Discography. Albums, studio albums, 1995, Pieces of You, 1998, Spirit, 1999, Joy, A Holiday Collection, 2001, This Way, 2003, 0304, 2006, Goodbye Alice in Wonderland, 2006, iTunes Originals, 2008, Perfectly Clear, 2009, Lullaby, 2010, Sweet and Wild, 2011, The Merry Goes Round, 2013, Greatest Hits, 2013, Let It Snow, A Holiday Collection, DVDs, Jewel, A Life Uncommon. An intimate documentary featuring live performances and candid interviews. Live at Humphreys by the Bay. Shot over 2 sold-out performances at the San Diego venue. Bonus features include interviews, live footage from her This Way tour, and a photo gallery. Jewel, The Essential Live Songbook, Major Tours. Papillion Tour, Lilith Fair Tour, Tiny Lights Tour, Spirit World Tour. Support acts, Steve Pulse, Rusted Root, This Way World Tour. Support acts, M2M, Rosie Thomas, Soul City Cafe Artists, New Wild West Acoustic Tour. Support acts, Stuart Mathis, Jason Mraz, 0304 World Tour. Support acts, Josh Kelly, 0304 Acoustic Tour. Support acts, Madeline Peru, Joe Firstman, Ryan Cabrera, Susan Greenbaum, Anne Heaton, Tour for No Reason, Acoustic. Support acts, Joe Firstman, Something to Be Tour, opening act for Rob Thomas along with Toby Lightman. Goodbye Alice in Wonderland Tour. Tour included dates with a band, but majority were performed as solo acoustic shows. Steve Pulse opened several shows. The Paisley Party Tour, with headliner Brad Paisley and co-supporting acts, Chuck Wicks, and Julianne Hough. Perfectly Clear Acoustic Tour, support act, Toby Lightman. Lullaby Acoustic Tour, support acts, Miko, Holly Williams. Starlight Cafe Tour and a Euro Acoustic support acts, Kip Moore, Radney Foster. Greatest Hits Tour, support acts, Steve Pulse. Awards, references. External links, official website, Jewel on Twitter, Jewel at AllMusic, Jewel at the Internet Movie Database, Jewel's Atlantic Records page, Listen Jewel's MySpace radio page, Listen Jewel interview on NPR Weekend Edition July 3, 2010.